Hi there, this is Christine Hummel. We're back to another Root to Rising podcast, and I have two guests with me today that recently graduated college. And the focus of today's conversation is going to be share some of their college experience and what it was like graduating. Again, as a reminder to you all, this podcast is focused to help the younger generation of women learn from more experienced generation, professional women out there and share their stories. So I'm going to throw it over to Ellie and Alex to introduce themselves. Alex, why don't you go first? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name's Alex, and I am from California originally, and I just graduated with Ellie from University of Alabama back in May, and now I live in Nashville, also with Ellie. And yeah, I just moved here in June, and I love it. So
Also, what made you pick Nashville?
when I was a freshman, I came to visit Nashville for the first time, and I fell in love with the city, and I knew that wanted to still be in the South, and it's still close to Tuscaloosa, and we wanted to go back for like a game or anything, and I never really wanted to go back to California.
Awesome. Congrats for making that big move.
Thanks.
Ellie?
Hey, so I was on the very first one, but my name is Ellie. I am originally from Chicago, but then also went to Alabama with Alex, just graduated, and also moved to Nashville. So we're both in Nashville. We both majored in communications, and I wanted to move to Nashville. I've always loved Nashville since even being in high school. And then going to school in the South, I thought being from Chicago and being in the South, it's best of both worlds, being close to home and being close to school. It's a little bit of everything, and honestly, it feels like home, even though we've only been almost a month. I've only been here for almost a month, so it doesn't feel like anything crazy. And so it's kind of nice to have also a piece of like our Tuscaloosa home. Like me and Alex being together is also like still a great time. And it's very helpful having someone that you are familiar with, but you're also having your own lives, like living separately too.
So I'm going to ask you guys a question, and maybe I'll go to Alex first. So you both moved from big cities. Alex, you moved from California to University of Alabama, which is a pretty big move for a college. And then Ellie, you picked, obviously moving from Chicago, you picked Alabama too. So a lot of women or even high school students your age probably don't think that largely in terms of, hey, I'm going to go to school somewhere totally outside my state. In a really big school of almost 40,000 people. So when you were thinking about picking your college, Alex, like what were you thinking about? And then what was the reasons you chose Alabama? And what made you have enough confidence to even move from California to Alabama, being one so far away from family and friends? And kind of what caused you to start that new journey?
So whenever it was like my senior year, COVID had just happened like our junior year, and getting into college was kind of tough. And also being in all the California schools want the out-of-state kids. So even though I've lived in California my whole life, they wouldn't want me unless I had like a 4.5 GPA. And I just knew that was going to be a hard time. And also, if I did get into a California school, since COVID was still sort of new, you would be learning in your dorm. And I didn't really want that. I wanted the full college experience. And so my mom was like, you need to apply to colleges in the South. And I'm like, whoa, pretty far, but I guess I'll try it out. And the first college I got into was Alabama, and I was just so surprised because like I just like never thought that I would end up going to college, and just school was just never my thing. And I'm so glad I chose Alabama. And when I went to visit for the first time, I was like, this place is insane. It's huge. It's beautiful. There's so much to it. And they were really more lenient on the COVID laws and all that. And so I would get the full experience if I went there. And a little story, I guess, my older brother had passed away my senior year, and I asked him for a sign of where I should go to college. And then one of the names of the bars is called Bear Trap, and that was his nickname in the Navy. So I saw that, and I was like, this is my sign to go. Like, he's telling me I need to go here, even though it's so far away. He's right next to me, basically. And so honestly, that was my reason to go. I didn't visit any other colleges after that. I committed the next day.
Wow.
And that's why I chose it.
So were you scared at all being so far away from family and friends?
Yes. So like I was still like 17 when I moved away, because I'm very young for my grade, and I was excited at first, and then I was the first one out of my friend group at home to leave. And then it really hit me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I am going across the country basically by myself. Like I barely knew my roommate at the time. She's also from Bakersfield, my hometown, but we didn't really know each other too well. So I had her as like some sort of familiarity, but I still was like, I don't know anyone else. Like, this is a huge jump. I'm 17. What am I doing? And then like moving in, I remember I was so upset. I'm like, I don't want to be here. I was like, Mom, please take me home. And like, even I asked her, I was like, Labor Day weekend coming up. I'm like, please, like, I want to come home. And she's like, no, I'm not letting you come home. And I was so pissed at her. So I was like, I don't know if I don't know how I'm going to feel about like being away from you for so long. And then I sucked it up, and I'm so glad that she did not let me come home, because obviously it ended up being the best 4 years of my life. So I just had to suck it up and just realize like this was the right choice for me, and I just had to let myself like understand that. So
Yeah. So Ellie, what about you? Chicago to Alabama. What made you make that big jump?
I mean, it's definitely not as far as California, but it still is, I mean, a good distance going from Midwest to the South. It's also very different coming from obviously a COVID time too. Like everything in the South is much more lenient and it was super fun. But I honestly have just loved, I've always wanted to go in the South. I always knew I wanted to go there. And then my sophomore year of high school was some kid that said, "Oh, I am touring Alabama." And I was like, sounds fun. And so then I like started to look into it more and like seriously just loved it more and more every single time that I went. I toured other schools, Mizzou, LSU, but like there was nothing else on my mind other than nothing, no other school, no thought of transferring or leaving has crossed my mind in the 4 years of being there. So I guess my sophomore year old brain was right.
So if you take away COVID, pretend that didn't happen, and you're talking to someone, a high schooler, junior, senior today, like you guys make it sound super easy, like, oh, we just went, yeah, it was overwhelming, but we figured it out. Like when you have some people that stay in state, they always go like to the same state school. What would you tell them if they were afraid to look at out of state schools or somewhere? Like I hear parents saying like, I don't want them to go any further than 3 hours or something, right? So I can drive to them. So what would you say to like a younger person in high school that is like people are telling them to stay close and maybe they want to venture outside the state, but they don't have the confidence to do so? What would you tell them how to do it or how to get confidence to take that risk?
I would definitely say this is your first opportunity being probably freshly 18, like going on your own, doing your own thing to travel really not wherever you want to, but like within reason, like outside of the town that you grew up in or the state that you grew up in. Like if you're not going to be traveling right out of like say you stay in that same state for 4 years, like you might not be able to travel like that. It's definitely an opportunity to get out and meet new people, and that's what you're going to have to do for the rest of your life is meet new people. So why not start right when
Yeah.
you start learning? So you're learning in school, but you're learning how to network and you're learning all the information in your classes. And so it's really just the beginning of like the start of your life, moving out of your hometown.
Yeah, and before Alex, you go, I think to that point, a lot of kids, they have to learn how to cope with things in high school in order to be able to cope with them in college. And so the parents that are out there like doing everything for the kids or telling them to stay close to home really are not helping them, right? Because they're not helping them be independent people to live not just college, but life is full of shit every day, right? Like Ellie, you were like, oh, yesterday it was Monday. It was a great Monday, right? You're like, I had a great day. I wasn't
Mhm.
tired. I did good at work. And then you got in like an accident on the way home and you're like, this ruined my Monday. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
there's going to be shit every day of the week of your life. And if you don't have the coping mechanisms to just kind of navigate through it, solve the problem and move on, like
Yeah.
it's going to be hard. So I do think, a lot of kids shelter themselves early on. And I agree, like it does carry through later in your career and your profession if you start to shelter yourself right out of the gates. But Alex, with that, what's something you would tell someone that is maybe, wanting to go out of state, if their parents don't want them to, how would they get the confidence to do that?
Um, I think I would just tell them, I was like, this is like going like with what Ellie said, like this is your one opportunity to do it, and totally do it. You're not gonna make a mistake doing it. Like I was starting to freak out. Like I said, I'm like, you know what? No, I chose this place and I'm starting to like it. And this is the best decision I've ever made. And I would tell someone like younger than me that there's so much opportunity out there. You're gonna meet so many people. You never know what life is gonna bring you. You never know who you're gonna meet, like networking, like potential jobs in the future. Like you never know like what's gonna happen. And so just saying like fuck it basically and just going for it is honestly the best thing you can do. And I know it's easier said than done, but once you make that step, that is like once you cross that
Yeah.
bridge and get to that place, that's the hardest part. then you're done.
But
And
but
then,
you said something. You're like, who cares if you make a mistake?
right.
Who cares? Then
And
fix it. Do something
if
different,
you
right?
go away to school and it ends up not being your thing, then come back. But I think
Right.
everyone should at least try it and take the opportunity if they have it to go wherever they want to end up.
Yeah, there's a lot out there to experience, right?
Yeah.
All right, so you guys just recently graduated from Alabama, a great 4 years, lots of good stories. And so as you kind of came into your senior year, end of senior year, what did you start thinking about in terms of, oh crap, I have to go get a job. I'm going to graduate now. I have to, go to work every day. I know you made the decision to move to Nashville for some of the reasons you stated, but what were you thinking about right before you graduated? Were you excited? Were you nervous? Like what was going through your head that senior year? So we'll go with Alex first.
So it didn't really hit me until honestly the week before. I was just trying to have fun and do everything, like say yes to everything, do everything because senior year went by so fast and everyone's right. Each year goes by quicker and quicker. Senior year was the quickest year ever. And so I wanted to say yes to everything, just not really think about it, not really talk about it. Like once that gets there, then I'll start worrying about it,
Yeah.
And then a week before graduation, I was like, oh my gosh, wait, I don't have an apartment. I don't have a job. Like I started kind of freaking out a bit. I'm like, wait, how am I going to navigate this? And then I told myself, like, let's just get through graduation. I know where I want to go after. So let's just get all the fun stuff, graduation out of the way, and then figure out what I'm going to do. Honestly, like just not thinking about it, which, like I said, easier said than done. But I just wanted to have the best senior year and just waited till the very end, I guess, to figure that stuff out
Yep.
because I just that being in the real world and having a job is like kind of scary. So I was just like, fun things first, then I'll think about that.
Yeah, and I think sometimes there's a lot of pressure to do internships during college, which I do think is
Right.
important to make sure that's what you want to do. But a lot of people are like, oh, you have a job immediately after college, and everyone's like rushing through it all the time. And like you're going to be working the rest of your life, right? So there
Yeah.
is probably a fair balance there of enjoying the senior year and then looking for something right after college. And then when you graduated, Alex, and let's say a week later, you made a decision, like, talk to us what it was like making the move to Nashville. Like, did you know you were going to move there? How did you start thinking about job opportunities?
Yeah. So like I had said, I've been wanting to move to Nashville since I was a freshman. And then I was really getting serious about it my senior year because that was eventually going to start happening very soon. My friend Emma and I decided she also moved to one of my old roommates. She decided to move to Nashville as well. And we both decided like, hey, let's get an apartment, the same complex, but have like our own space. And so that's what we ended up doing. So we kind of did that together. So that was honestly helpful because like I have familiarity 3 floors above me, so that helped with that
Yeah.
situation. And then once I got my apartment, I was like, okay, I need to go on LinkedIn. I need to start looking for jobs. Like, see, like what I really want to do. Because my major was communications, advertising, and PR. And that major is so broad. There's so much out there that I didn't even know about. And so I was just kind of like searching for jobs, and it wasn't really working out totally. I had interviews, sales jobs, and you would think that like since I have a degree, oh, they want me. No, the job market is so tough right now. It is so hard to find a job. But once I finally got the job I have now, it took me a while. I mean, I didn't get this job till I've been working now just a week and a half there, and I graduated in May. So like I took some time to like figure out my life and like give myself a break. And then I really got into, okay, let's find a job. Let's get this started. Let's get it going. And now I'm here.
How did you find the job? You said it was hard. So how did you get this job?
Yeah, so it was honestly kind of a funny story. So I work at a dermatology practice and I had a mole on my arm that I was like worried about. So I was a patient and they always like ask tell us about yourself because they're very like social, personable
Yeah.
practice. And I was like, yeah, I just graduated from Alabama. I don't really have a job yet. I just moved here. And he was like, you want a part-time job? And I was like, wait, really? So I didn't think of this to actually go through, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to make the effort. I'm going to call him the next day and be like, hey, I'm serious about this. Like, if you actually mean this, I would love to like have an interview with you, like whatever. And so he's like, okay, send me your resume. So I sent it over. I had an interview that was a Wednesday, called him Friday, had an interview the next Tuesday. And then he was like, you're hired. And I was like, what? Like, I was in shock, and they're like, "You have a communication degree, like, that'd be perfect for what we want you for." I work the front desk, I'm working to get my MA as a medical assistant as well, and I also, like, help run their I guess, like, I'm the social media manager for their Instagram and all of that now,
That's
and they're like
awesome.
yeah, so having a communication major, they really wanted that because face-to-face, front desk, and then
Yep.
communications and advertising with the social media, and then I always wanted to be in the medical field, so that also kind of worked out once I get my medical assistant certificate, and then yeah, so that's kinda how I got the job, and it was honestly a miracle. I, like, cried happy tears. I'm like, I never thought this was gonna happen.
That's always, you never know who you're gonna talk to and what
Right?
conversation it I always say to people, "It's not what you know, it's who you know," right?
It is, and like I said, if
Yeah,
I never made the move to move out here, I wouldn't have never ended up where I
right,
am now, so
alright.
perfect example.
So, Ellie, how about you? Talk us through when you graduated, what you were thinking, and when you started looking for jobs, what was it like?
I mean, kinda same thing. It all kinda came fast. Like senior year went by literally in a flash, and then I started, I mean, to kind of look like here and there, like as it was nearing the end, but then everything just kept starting to like amp up and all the lasts were happening and everybody was like, oh my God, we're not going to see each other. Oh my gosh, this like it was a lot. But then I was still in Tuscaloosa over the summer, so I had time to really look at like a lot of different types of jobs and kind of go along. 'Cause I knew I also wanted to be in Nashville for a while, so I knew it was going to be here. And so then still here, have been doing interviews here and there, but I also knew that I kind of wanted to go into sales at first because also being a communications major, I mean, it's something that you're doing all day is talking and doing that. So now I'm almost a month now. I've been in I've been a sales rep for a company called Direct Fairways, and it's just all day long calling people and building those communication skills like more and more, which I know is going to help me for whatever job I choose next, say even maybe in the next 6 months or the next 4 months. Like who knows what's going to come across my plate? Just as Alex said, like whoever I meet, like anything can pop up, and so building these kind of skills right now in sales will help me greatly for
Yeah.
whatever I wanna go into next.
Why do you think it's so hard to get a job right now?
That is something I think everyone our age has been trying to figure out and has been very frustrated with because I still know people who even have, like, marketing, like, degrees and maybe even had internships with a company, and they still aren't being able to get jobs. Like, it seriously is who you know right now, not what you kinda sucks, but it's I mean, it kinda is how it is. Because even my minor was sports media, and I've majored in communications, but there's, like, sports opportunities for, like, the media and being, like, literally everything you could possibly need, but they won't take you because they know this person better than you. Like, so it kinda just is very, very tricky. I honestly really wish I knew the answer to that question, but right now it's just kinda up in the air. Ever so many things are going around, so many people applying for jobs, and I wish I knew the answer, but
So you both took jobs, as your kind of an opportunity that was thrown your way. When you knew the job market was hard, you just kind of were flexible and you took something that was offered, may not be your forever job, but it's a starting point to get experience. So maybe walk through if someone's in the same position. I mean, would you do anything different in terms of your job hunting? Would you have started earlier? Would you have networked more, or what are you doing now to like try to have more, get to know more people in your field? So maybe we'll start with Alex on that one.
I think maybe I should have started a little earlier because I knew people that were trying to find jobs the beginning of senior year, and I was like, "Oh, I'm trying to focus on one thing at a time," and like, those same people still don't even have jobs yet. So it's
yeah.
like,
Hmm.
if I started earlier, if I started last week, it's still like it's who you know. And unfortunately, that's how it is. And it sucks 'cause it's like, oh, well, did I even have to go to college? Because it's just, well, if I know so and so, they can just give me the job, then I'm fine, you know? And I hate that that's how it is. But honestly, like, I wouldn't really change what I did because I'm happy with where I'm at right now. And I hope to grow very well with that company. So, I mean, yeah, telling someone I wouldn't change anything because it's
Yeah.
still the same. Everyone's still in the same boat.
Yeah, yeah. Ellie, what would you do differently?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would have started looking. I probably would say maybe beginning of second semester, even just like not applying, but like still trying to get a grasp of like what I really want to do. But even right now at the age of 22, like obviously I'm not going to be a sales rep for the rest of my life. So It's not exactly like obviously what I want to like do right now, but it's going to help me grow into whatever I want to do. And what Alex said, there's people that started beginning of senior year, that started in October, December, winter break, like, and they still are searching and they're still
Yeah.
living like where they don't want to live. And so it's like, it's
Right.
really a toss up of anything, like anything can go. Like me and Alex
Yeah.
started looking later, but we now have jobs that are going to help us and that we enjoy. But people
Yeah.
have been looking since winter break and still don't. So it's really
Yeah.
just, again, who you know, who you talk to, like what you're able to find, what's right in front of you.
I have had 3 different, professional women on my podcast, and every single one of them, when I ask them for advice to give, younger females that are starting out, is talk to everyone and take every risk and every opportunity, and just they say that what's the worst thing that can happen? They can say no, but they're always like, "Put yourself out there, attend that meeting, attend that networking session, attend that conference." Just like when someone offers you something, say yes and take it and get that experience. And it doesn't have to be something you keep forever. It doesn't even have to be something you like, but at least talk to everyone, put yourself out there. And that's the number one thing. Without all 3 of them even knowing each other, that's what they all said individually. Because I asked everyone at the end of the podcast, what advice would you give to younger females today? And that's the number one thing I hear is just talk to everyone and put yourself out there. And it is what you know, and then when you're in the job, you have to execute on it and you have to do really well at it. So it's just kind of getting, and remember, there's thousands of people that apply to one job on LinkedIn, right? And then now you have AI that's helping human resources, recruit people, or they're replacing jobs. So when you go into a job interview or discussion or you're networking with someone, you always have to think, how can I act different or what can I say different that will differentiate me from the thousands and thousands of other applicants that have applied to this job, because they're talking to the same people every day. I interview people, like we're hiring like 30 new people and I've had interviews for 3 months. And it's not even so much about if they like, I kind of skim their resume and I skim it for like, have they had different jobs? And then I actually just try to talk to them and I see if they have characteristics, not even skill sets, but characteristics like they communicate well, right? They have a growth mindset. They're always asking pictures that are like bigger than just the tactics in front of it. And it's not that they may have the skill of what I'm hiring for, but they have a certain characteristic that I know I can teach the rest. So as like a hiring leader, a lot of times it doesn't have to be that you have 10 years of experience or 5 years of experience, or maybe you're even missing some of the experiences, but you have to communicate what differentiates you from the other people with the characteristics you have. And both of you have experiences that you can pull from to talk to some of those characteristics. So it's really bringing that through and applying that and differentiating yourself when you're talking to that person interviewing you. So with that, I'm going to kind of ask another question in terms of if you were to go back in time, like all the way back in high school, as let's pretend in this scenario COVID didn't happen again, because hopefully it doesn't happen again. And I think your worlds were a lot different. But for people out there today, in high school, what you did and what you prepared for in college, what would you tell like the younger version of yourself, let's say freshman, sophomore year in high school, to prepare either better for college or do something, doesn't have to be better, it just has to be different, knowing what you know now? What would you tell yourself in high school? So we'll start with Ellie for this one.
Freshman year of high school or like sophomore year. But the first thing I feel like I always say this is a basic thing, but take more summer classes during your time so you can add up those credits. I mean, it just makes it easier in the long run on your senior year. But also, I mean, I switched my major twice. I went in as kinesiology because I knew I wanted to be sports based. And so at that point, I thought, okay, athletic training is to do. And I was like, I can't do science. So then I went to news media because I really enjoy writing, which I still do. But then I then switched it again and broadened it to communications, news media is in that like area. And so I guess, I mean, not that you need to know what you want to do because that's like the number one thing going into college. You're like, you're going to figure it out along the way. But I really wish I kind of put more time and effort into like weeding out those things that I know that I'm maybe not good at or not interested in earlier to kind of save me from that realization at the end of my sophomore year of college. Like, yeah, you're just doing your gen eds, usually freshman and like still kind of in your sophomore year, but really knowing what you want helps you greatly. And then also will feed into when you're looking for jobs. Because then if you're doing what like you love early on, then you kind of get exposed to like more jobs early on rather than still trying to figure out and
Right.
branching off into all these different areas. You're focused on like that one thing and you're learning, but then you're also like going into that job world a little bit, which would also help with starting to apply for jobs earlier. So it kind of all feeds into one. Just starting things earlier and really yourself more than you think because you're going to get caught up in all the fun things that go on and school gonna like track you back a little bit. But if you really apply yourself and look, even like in the summer, like jobs like your freshman year, sophomore year, it'll help you greatly too. So you'll have that knowledge already going into your junior and senior year of jobs and what you want to do and just starting earlier with some things
Would
is
you
what
have
I would
made the
say.
same decision to go to Alabama and done the same major?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, totally would have.
All right, Alex, if you went back to high school freshman, sophomore year, what would you tell yourself to do differently?
Kind of the same thing, I guess, prepare myself more because, well, I wanted to be a nurse growing up, like all my life, like or medical field, something like that. And so I was like, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. So I was applying to like colleges for like a nursing program, and I've just chemistry and like anatomy was just like wasn't my thing. Like it was so hard, but I so like badly wanted to be a nurse or something like that. And so I wish I studied more and like prepared myself more because I didn't realize how hard nursing school would be. Because like Ellie, I changed my major 3 times. I was nursing at first, then I went to business, then communications, and that kind of stepped me back a little bit because changing your major so much, you have to take even more classes. So I had to take at least 3 classes every summer of college, inter classes, all of that. So yeah, I would tell myself, like, I guess prepare yourself more and just be like, okay, what are you good at? What do you think could really benefit you in the long run? If you can't do nursing now, you can do nursing later. Like just my mom told me she was like, as long as you get the degree, I don't care what it is. As long as you have that, like it's a big deal having a degree. And I think that like as
Right.
long as you have that for yourself, you could really take that anywhere. And so
Right.
I was like, okay, I'm just going to do communications. It's an easier major so I could get my degree and like I'll have that for the rest of my life. And I was like, if I want to do nursing later on, then I could. And then full circle moment, I'm working in a dermatology practice and I'm going to get my MA with medical assisting.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
yeah, so my full circle moment ended up doing what I kind of wanted to do, but I guess telling my younger self, prepare better and what wouldn't be having to take summer school every year.
Yeah.
It is hard though, because you try to balance like you are growing up and you want to have experiences mixed with, right, you're preparing to get older and be in the real world. So I get both sides of it. It's challenging for the younger generation, like to be competitive, you have to start earlier, just like sports. Like if you want to be a competitive athlete, you have to start like 7, 8, 9 years old on these crazy travel teams to be really good when you peak at, high school and college. So I think everything's just getting more and more competitive. People are getting smarter. And you just have to start doing things earlier, but find the right balance of having fun and kind of starting to learn new things.
Right.
All right, so one question to wrap it up for both of you. So, having people that are going to start college now or they're trying to figure out their journey in college, what advice would you give them if they're coming upon graduation? In terms of they don't know what to do next, they don't know how to look for a job. What advice would you give them? Maybe a couple things.
If
So,
they're
Alex,
going to wait, if they're gonna be, like, graduating soon, like, say, going into their senior year or, like, it's
mhm.
their senior year,
Or just like their whole anything around college or just their senior year when they think about graduation, like what would be advice to give them like post graduation? Alex, we'll go with you first.
I would just say, I mean, like I said, like I did everything I could my whole senior year, saying yes to everything, going out like on a weekday 'cause I'm never gonna have that again, or just like random little things to do, seeing all my friends as much as I could. Like I said, saying yes to everything and just know that like what God's plan has for you will happen. Like he has a plan for everybody and he knows yours. And just if you have to be patient, you have to be patient. I had to be very patient with finding a job. Like I did, like I said, I did not think I was going to find one. I've been searching for a couple of months and I'm like, I'm struggling. I was like, it got to the point where I was like, I'm not gonna get a job. Maybe I just wasn't supposed to have a job. I'm supposed to be a stay-at-home daughter. Like, maybe I just wasn't supposed. So I just had to tell myself, like, just be patient because what's coming will come to you and it will find you. And I was, like I said, I was like at the point where I was like, I'm not gonna find a job. And then one day I ended up in a dermatology office and now I have a job. So I think that I would just tell someone who's about to graduate, just be patient, and 'cause it's gonna be hard, but just do everything you can, and when it's the right time, it's the right time.
Awesome, Ellie.
Yeah, I think also the one thing everyone says all the time is the say yes to everything. Like seriously, like when I go out to food with someone like that's in your class, it's asking you, sure, say yes, why not? 'Cause then you can talk about anything like under the sun, and you still make so many connections by saying yes to everything. But also on, I guess like more school and like job like side of things. I think just what I said earlier, just kind of like the starting earlier point, and even like saying your freshman year, like join as many clubs as you can. That's definitely, I think, maybe one regret that I have for college
Me
is
too.
not joining really. I mean, like we were both in sororities, but and had many opportunities through there. But I think one of like the biggest regrets is not joining like a bunch of different clubs, like literally as many as you can. Even like you can drop some at some point, but even just like ones in your major or ones for fun or to help with philanthropy or like literally anything like that. I think that would be my one regret of college. And so I would say my advice is to join everything you can because that is like the key for networking and finding people and finding jobs and finding friends too. You find everything through all of the like the clubs and the groups that are there. And so it just makes it better. It can't hurt you. So I
But
think that,
you can still do that now too, though, like where you
oh
all
yeah.
are at in Nashville. Like there's younger clubs, like Ellie, you went to something on Sunday. Like I
Yeah.
would say
And that's
continue
why
to put yourself out there. Go
And
ahead.
that's why now I'm being in a new city, not I mean, obviously me and Alex know each other and like the few other girls that also moved here, but you're really like on your own now. It's not like you're down the street, like in your college town with everybody that you know. You're on your own, you have the familiarity, but you're still trying to make new friends, trying to make new connections in this brand new city. And so yeah, I went to like this run club thing on Sunday with literally 3 girls that I met for the first time the night before. And it was a blast. Like all got along, went out to eat after even. And then we're like, okay, like see you at the next one. And so it's about like gaining those friendships and connections like throughout until the end of your life.
Right.
So,
And you also don't know when you do those social things and you put yourself out there in any setting, right? Like taking a new class or whatever, you don't know who you're going to run into from a network
mhm,
perspective. Like Alex, you bumped in, like you were in the right place at the right time at a doctor's office, right? So,
exactly.
just taking every opportunity to meet people, introduce yourself. I would say, get really familiar when someone asks, oh, what are you doing or what do you do for work? Like just pick up like 2 to 3 sentences to develop your brand. So, I'm Ellie Turnus, recently graduated Alabama, focusing right now on inside sales for a golf company X, Y, and Z, but looking
Mhm,
for, and then tell
yeah.
them what you're looking for, right? And Alex the same. Like even if you're happy doing it, always just like pick up your 2 to 3 sentences that state your brand, what you're doing, and then what you want to do. So that when you meet someone, it's a quick, hit, like a 30-second intro. And then they, in their mind, if they connect with you, they may have an opportunity that helps them.
Yeah, and that has
So,
already happened. That's something that's already happened here because I told like there's someone that I was talking to like on a night out, and I was like, "Yeah, I really enjoy writing," and he's like, "Oh, I work for like a journalism, like sports journalism thing." Yeah, and we started like talking about that and like have the contact and everything. So it's literally who you meet at the right place at the right time and the
and then
information
when
you
you
get.
get the contact, follow up with the contact immediately because, again, there's a lot of people that cross people's paths in life, and especially they get busy during the week. So have immediate follow up. Say something that has him or her remember and connect back to the conversation you had, like make it personal, but have an immediate follow up. Don't wait like a week and then expect them to remember you because you're the most important person in the world. You're not, right? So people are moving 100 miles a minute. And again, it goes back to differentiating yourself. You have to differentiate yourself in every situation. Otherwise, you're going to blend and people aren't going to want you to, come work for them or come help them with whatever the conversation is.
I agree.
Awesome. So any closing comments for the future listeners of this podcast, Alex?
Move out of your hometown.
Yeah,
Ellie?
do that and research everything and talk to everyone
Yes.
Just learn
Be
everything that you
curious, be
can.
curious, be
Yeah.
curious, right?
Yep, for sure.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, I thank you two young ladies for being on my podcast.
Yay.